Hey guys, it's Dodongobomber in like a million times better quality. Seriously, this quality's better than my eyesight, you know, glasses. But anyway, yeah, I managed to get like a way better camera to be able to use for this, so that's really good. Well, let's go ahead and move on to the first question of this mailbag. We got a lot of good questions this week, so I'm excited to start. Okay, first of all, Nick, one of our writers on the site, asks, do you think that the hero shade from Zelda Twilight Princess was a past hero or incarnation of Link? If so, do you think it was the hero of time? Well, I think there's definitely a possibility it could be an incarnation of Link. I mean, they never really gave us any super, like, I don't know, they never really gave us any super evidence that would really prove that, except, you know, spoiler alert here if you haven't played Twilight Princess, at the end he says, like, I forget exactly where, I haven't gotten to that part yet in the walkthrough and recording wise, but he, the hero shade says, like, go my son or something like that, but, you know, lots of mentors call, you know, their apprentice's son, you know, and some people just say, like, you know, son, it's just like a term, it doesn't have to mean you're related to him. But yeah, I think there's a possibility, definitely, except for the fact that the sword and shield he carries look nothing like, someone would ever, any Link would ever use. I mean, especially if it's the Hero of Time Link, the Hero Shade guy. I actually have a picture of him right here. Yeah, he doesn't really look like, Adult Link from Ocarina of Time. He's got the weird helmet thing, going on. I mean, I think it's a possibility he's somehow related to, Link, maybe sort of in the way that in A Link to the Past, Link's uncle knew how to use swords and stuff, but he wasn't really like a hero exactly. It could be something like that, like someone who knew Link in the past, or possibly it could just be another just a filler person, you know, someone that just meant it for that game just to give you another side quest to get the hidden skills. But yeah, I'm not really gonna say I think he is definitely a past Link, but I think, like I said, he might be someone who knew Link, like Link's uncle in A Link to the Past, so yeah, I wouldn't say he's the hero of time, though. Okay, this next user has actually two questions, and this is I'm the Few Shadows, and he asks, what is your favorite mask in Majora's Mask? Oh boy, geez, there's 20 masks, not counting the transformation. I'm assuming you don't mean transformation masks. Most of you might know, I don't know, I might have said it in a past mailbag, but my favorite Zelda game is Majora's Mask. There's tons of great masks in there, not counting transformation. I'd have to say my favorite, there's quite a few. Let's see, there's the bunny hood, that's one, that's awesome, because you can, well, you can run really fast with it. The bunny hood's cool, the stone mask is cool. Funny story, the first time I actually played Majora's Mask, I didn't get the stone mask at all. Like, I did the whole the Pirate Fortress without the stone masks, but yeah, that's a cool mask. The bunny hood is, what else is cool? I like the mummy mask, or the Gerudo mask, I forget exactly what it's called. And they're kind of escaping me right now. The Giant's mask was cool, except you can only use it once in the game, but aside from that, it was pretty awesome. So yeah, it's kind of escaping me right now, all the masks in the game, but, because there's so many, but I'd have to say probably the bunny hood or the stone mask for right now, but then I'm probably just going to go play Majora's Mask right after this and find another mask that's just as awesome. Now for transformation masks, I'm not counting Fierce Deity because you can't use that much. I'm going to say the Zora's mask because it's just so badass. You get the boomerangs, you're pretty powerful, and you're like tall, and you can actually reach some ledges that other forms can't. And you can swim like wicked fast, which is awesome. So yeah, for transformation masks, I'd say the Zora, and for the normal mask, I'd say the bunny hood. Yeah. Okay, so his second question is, I know Dodongobomber, that's me, did a timeline video on his channel, but do you believe in the split timeline? If not, why not? Well, yes, I did do a timeline video on my channel, my personal channel. I'll link to that down in the description if you want to see my personal view in the timeline. I'm not really going to get far into it right here, but I do believe in the split timeline. There's still things that don't make sense in it, and same thing, there's still things that don't make sense in the linear timeline. I mean, for a while, I used to believe in the linear timeline, because the split didn't make sense. Because my theory, when I believed in the linear timeline, was, you know, young Link would grow up to be adult Link, but then adult Link would just be sent back to be Kid Link again, and it'd just be an endless cycle. I mean, I don't see why one Link would live on one way, and then the other Link would just not go back. You know, when Zelda sends Link back, she doesn't send half of him back, which is what kind of confused me. But I think in terms of game-wise, like the whole series, not just Ocarina of Time, I think that the split timeline makes a bit more sense. But even then, there are still some gaps that don't make sense unless you kind of theorize just a bit, like make up some things. But yeah, I do believe in the split timeline, even though, like I said, it could end up in like a full circle. It just seems to make the most sense with the most games. Yeah. Okay, our last question comes from Juicy J, and he says, or asks, do you think that the Gerudo race was necessarily extinct in Twilight Princess, or that they just weren't written in the story? Well, the Arbiter's Grounds sort of hints that there could be some Gerudo in the past. There's no mention of them at all. There's no hints at the Gerudo ever really existing, except for Ganondorf, but again, he was thrown at the end, and he didn't really fit well in the story. So I'm gonna have to say, yeah, they were extinct. I mean, they definitely were there. It's pretty much like, just like Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess. I mean, when you think about it, I definitely trying to hint at the Gerudo. But like, you know, if they were there, but they just didn't mention them in the story, well, they'd have to be there somewhere, like in Hyrule, because it takes place in Hyrule. I mean, even if they didn't put them bigly into the story, they'd still be there if they weren't extinct. And I don't think they went to a different land or anything. Like, you know, because even though the Gerudos in Majora's Mask are sort of like the Gerudos in Ocarina of Time, they're actually pirates. They're not really the same thing. It's like an alternate thing. So I don't think that the Gerudos would have gone to another world. So I'm gonna probably have to say that they're extinct for Twilight Princess. I really wish they would have been in the game, because I mean, it'd be really cool to see them in that realistic style that TP had. Yeah, I have a feeling if they're written in the story, then they definitely would have made an appearance. I mean, even if they weren't, they still would have made an appearance, because, you know, they're in Hyrule. Well, guys, that looks like that just about wraps up this mailbag. Join me next time and I'll answer some more of your Zelda or site-related questions. If you haven't sent in a question yet, you can still join in on the action. Just be sure to send your questions into mailbag@zelda-world.net, or you can write it in our YouTube comments. You can write it in our site comments when we post this on the site, Facebook, wherever you can reach us, Skype, the usual stuff. Just go ahead and send us a question. This is Dodongobomber signing out. Have a good day.